Hello and welcome to episode 47 of A Gamer Looks at 40. I'm Bill Tucker, and tonight is the Wifey-sode, also known as the Jamie-sode, also known as the Anniversary-sode. This could be titled any one of those things. I'm just kind of covering all the bases in one intro, get them out of the way. But this is actually a really special episode. As I've been working on this massive Zelda retrospective, which I promise is going to be a real thing coming very, very soon, I noticed that today, July 18th, is close to a very special date, which is July 19th, the anniversary of my wife and I's marriage. We were married on July 19th, 2015. Makes this, if my math is correct, our 7-year anniversary. It's been an incredibly wonderful, joyous ride. Ups and downs and all the fun things you'd expect from a marriage, and that's a good thing. We're growing together, and I still love her as I can't really express it. And that's my job, to express things. And I truly can't express how much I care about my wife and love her. It's been an awesome ride, and I can't wait for this to continue. But I thought, what better way to celebrate our anniversary? Since we have kids and we can't go anywhere, and there's COVID and gas prices, how about a gift of gab? Talk to my wife about games. And here's the quick setup on this. My wife doesn't really identify as a gamer. We don't play video games together. She has some games in her past, in her history, and she's been around the medium. But again, she wouldn't identify as a gamer. However, I thought, let's talk about video games anyway. I know there are a few in her life, and we have one particular game that we talk about here in detail that we share together, but let's talk to my wife for our anniversary about her experience and history with games, and through that conversation, see if we can uncover some truths and some interesting realizations about people who say they aren't gamers. Maybe they are more than they really think. Time to meet my wife. Enjoy the conversation. Please note this was done in my home little pseudo office studio. We were both talking into one microphone. It's not the perfect setup. It doesn't sound perfect, but it's still a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy this interesting conversation with my wife about her history with video games. So Jane. Hi. This is the first time you've been on this show. I think this is the first time you've been on any of my shows.
Yeah.
Is this weird, me talking to you with radio voice? Because is it vastly different than my normal
But
speech?
I hear your radio voice all the time.
This is true.
So I'm used to it.
Okay.
Just be grateful you're not getting business voice from me.
business voices. So when I do these recordings,
Yes.
can you hear me from 2 rooms away through 2
I
walls?
can hear you next door.
No, you cannot.
Yes, I can hear you from anywhere in the house if you are
No,
recording.
you cannot.
Yes, I can. Unless I'm in one of the kids' rooms.
You can hear me from upstairs
Yes.
in the family room.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. You project, and our walls are real thin. That's not your fault.
I guess not. Unless
you let me tear all the walls down and re-insulate them and practice my drywalling, which I would not. I wouldn't let me do that.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. We're just going to be where we're going to be.
Okay, well, that's fine. Now I'm a little self-conscious.
We don't wake up the kids. What does it matter?
Well, I guess not. I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I just would like you to have some comfort in your own home when I do this 100 times a week or whatever else it is. So
I love hearing you talk.
Oh.
That's how we fell in love.
This is true. This is very true. So first off, Jane, tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, family of origin, your deepest, darkest secrets. Pretend like I don't know who you are.
Okay.
So give us a little bit about like kind of who you are and where you're from and maybe your first experience with video games, because you wouldn't identify as like a gamer per se.
No.
Right. You that's not kind of your thing. There are games in your history, some of which I know, maybe some of which I don't know, but that's what I think is going to be interesting. Like, what is your journey through games as somebody who doesn't really identify as a gamer? So you're from Iowa.
Well, it's convoluted.
Yeah, as most things are. Yeah.
I was born and lived for a while in Aurora, Colorado. So, Colorado. Then moved to Iowa and lived there for a number of years. And then moved to New York and lived there for 14 years. And now I live in Texas. So I like to move.
Yeah.
I don't like being tied down to anything.
No.
Yeah. Good luck with that marriage thing.
And now you're in Texas with a house and that we cannot escape from.
Nope.
So we are literally
and a husband and 2 children.
Yes,
Aww.
that we are forever tied to, which is a good thing. I'm stoked about it.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the history of.
Okay.
That is my contact list of addresses. I went to school for fashion design.
Yeah.
Went to school for 5 whole years in New York, and unique New York, and realized I hated design when I left.
That'll happen.
But somehow in working in design, discovered I love Excel. I hate math, but I love Excel. It's my happy place.
Beyond my comprehension. This is.
So now I work in operations, and it makes me happy. And I live in Texas with you, my husband,
yes,
and our 2 children.
Indeed.
In our lovely house and our brand new air conditioner that cost. I don't even want to talk about it. Yes. So my first, was there any other questions that I missed? I feel like I'm being interviewed now for a job.
Yeah. No, you're good. You're fine. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Just kidding. Obviously, we're not going to ask that interview question. So what was your first experience with video games? When was the first time you played or even seen a game of any sort?
Okay. Well, my first video game experience that I remember is on a black and white 13-inch TV that you change the dial on in my basement in Iowa, where I played an Atari. And I played what I like to think of as the Indiana Jones game, but it was like the guy that jumped over like the crocodiles.
Was it Pitfall? I think that's Pitfall.
I think it's Pitfall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just remember playing that, and it was a lot of fun, and I loved that game. So my brother and I used to play that. We also played this haunted house game that made no sense. I still don't understand it, but I do remember looking, and randomly you'd walk through a wall and there was a key. Don't know what the key did.
Nice.
But haunted house, Atari, 13-inch black and white TV, hashtag 80s child.
So you experienced 2 games, one of which, I think if I have it on the computer here, was that the game that you referred to?
Well, that's in color.
Oh, so you were black and white.
I was literally black and white.
Well, the Atari did display
But yes,
colors,
that was
yes.
it. But there was water in one of the scenes, right?
There's probably water somewhere.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's it. Pitfall.
So Pitfall's a good starting point because Pitfall's pretty great. That's a well-known, beloved game. The other one was some haunted house. You said
it was a haunted house. It was a ghost. Good luck finding it.
How about I'm going to try.
You're going to try. Good luck.
Yeah, I can cut all this part out if it turns into a failure.
I can. So
haunted
I just remember playing this game,
Atari,
and it was like if you not only that's it.
Is it this one?
That's
here,
it. Oh my
face?
God, yes. Okay, you need to find the thingy, the fake thingy that makes this happen on your computer.
Oh, an emulator. I can get
the thingy.
I have a 2600 emulator. We can surely find. Guess what the name of the game is?
Haunted House.
Haunted House. Yes, it's Haunted House on the Atari 2600. I'm assuming that's the one you had. It had like wood paneling.
It was fabulous.
These switches on it.
Yep.
Nice. So you started with that. Now, how old were you when you first experienced these 2 just beautiful titles?
Oh boy. Let's see. I was in Iowa, so I moved in 86. So yes, I'm old. Don't judge me.
This show is called A Gamer Looks at 40.
Oh, yeah,
All of
so
the
I'm good.
listeners,
All
all
right.
of the listeners are old. There's
So
no
these are my people.
These are your people. There's no young people. I don't know the demographics of this program, but we're all just ancient.
So I'm guessing somewhere between 87 and 89 is roughly when this happened.
Okay, 87 is between 7 and 9 years old. Okay,
Yep.
So by then you were in Iowa.
I was in Iowa, yes.
Okay. Iowa, living with your mom, brother with you. Did you play with your brother at all?
We did.
Yeah?
Yep, we played downstairs. And he actually, because of him and him getting video games, is my next experience into video games. Because, girls... people don't give girls, like little girls, video games. Or at least in the 80s.
No.
Like, it's like girls got Barbies.
Yep.
And pound puppies, although, come on. Pound puppies are the best.
Yeah, pretty
although I
cute.
did have a very good actually, no, I didn't have a great collection. My cousin had a fantastic, and she was a girl, had a fantastic collection of Garbage Pail Kids.
Get out of
Just saying.
here.
Oh, it's phenomenal. She had like a entire book that you would flip through, like a baseball card collection of Garbage Pail Kids.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That
was my childhood.
Not to get off track, but longtime listeners of the show know Mr. Joey Coro, of course.
Oh, yeah, Joey.
Joey Coro loves, and I mean loves, Garbage Pail Kids. Adores them. He had a giant binder of these.
The binder with the baseball card sleeves. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He had a giant binder of these things, and he adored the Garbage Pail Kids. So,
yeah, they were phenomenal.
They're pretty great.
Yeah.
So do you know, before we talk about your next kind of step with games, do you know where that 2600 is? Because you could sell that bad boy for probably a good, I don't know, 150 probably right now. I don't know. I could look up what an Atari 2600 will run you, but
Well, see.
Do you know where it is?
This is where you're going to bring up a little bit of like agita and hostility.
Agita?
In my heart and my soul.
Yeah.
Bless my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She kept every single mug she ever got for free from anywhere. But she gave away, threw away, or sold for 25 cents our original full, by piece though, full set of Voltron. By piece. Be piecemeal. 25 cents a piece.
How do you
Sold
sell
it off
a Voltron by piece?
It's,
Okay.
Original, unopened Abbey Road and Pearl vinyl.
Oh, those aren't worth anything.
Yep. For $25.
Oh, boy.
Not each.
Oh.
Combined.
Yikes.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure she probably threw it away.
Yeah, that stinks. Well, I was hoping maybe you'll tell me, in the old house in Iowa, because as of this recording, we're heading there this weekend to visit family. I actually buried it in the backyard. If we find that house and go to the 2 trees from the back, you'll see a little stone. No, nothing like that. Dang it. All right.
Although I will admit to you, I didn't. My roommate and the neighbor, it was a thing. I did throw away, although I didn't do it, a ColecoVision. I didn't do it. They did it, but I didn't stop them.
And you do realize you just said, I'll admit it to you. You just admitted it to an audience of a few.
No, they'll judge me.
No, it's fine.
They'll throw
you don't know, and that's
virtual
the thing.
rocks at my head. I didn't do it.
It wasn't you.
There's a long story behind it. It belonged to a roommate that screwed me over. It's just,
Okay. So roommates. So you had this thing, like, in the era of roommates.
I had this thing in the era of roommates.
Wow.
The roommate moved out and used my house as a storage facility for 2 years before I got rid of it.
And a ColecoVision was part of that collection of.
Yeah, why would they leave the ColecoVision? Like, really?
But even then, that was back in, still back probably 20 years ago at this point, probably. No one cared about it then. Like, it wasn't as big of a deal as it is now. Anyway, we don't
digress.
know. We digress. The Atari, we don't know where it is.
Nope.
Sad. The ColecoVision, long tossed away. Sad. What was that next step in your video game dumb?
That would be the Nintendo, not the Super Nintendo, because the Super Nintendo was the top one that
Correct.
you like did.
You all of them, but yes, that was the.
That's
Super
the one I
Nintendo.
remember. So it wasn't Super Nintendo; it was Nintendo.
Regular Nintendo.
Nintendo. That you like shoved it in the front, like with the gun and the dog and the ducks.
Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So that was our next experience. I loved me some Duck Hunt. Oh man, loved some Duck Hunt. That made me very, very happy. I don't remember anything else other than Duck Hunt. I know that there were things. I know I played Super Mario. Yeah. Was it Super Mario or did he start out as just Mario?
Well, the original Mario Brothers was, actually. The first Mario Brothers the one you're talking about was the dual cartridge. Probably it had Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt on the same thing.
Yeah, and it was black and white with like red and yellow.
Yes, that was Super
monotone.
Mario Brothers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. So you played a little of that.
He started out super. He never grew to super. He just started out super.
He had Mario Brothers, which was the first game for the NES, but it was NES.
Nintendo Entertainment System.
Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Good.
Okay, NES.
That was the first one. He was also on the Atari. There was an Atari Mario Brothers as well. Yes, but it wasn't Super Mario Brothers.
Really?
That's not sure. So yeah, it was Super Mario Brothers is the one that everyone.
Yeah, so he just started out super. Yeah, good for him.
Yeah.
He didn't even have to graduate.
He lived his best life. Mm-hmm. You know what? Fake it till you make it.
They say.
So you played the NES. Again, did you play anything else on the NES other than shooting ducks?
Okay, so I'm a little fuzzy when it comes to where Zelda came in. I do not know because I was not a big Zelda fan. So at some point before Super Mario World, which was my jam.
Mm-hmm. We'll get to Super Mario World. Yep.
That is where I became a human.
And we'll get to your Super Jam, which will be a little after that. I don't want to spoil it, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And so at some point I also played a little bit of Zelda, and that was around the, so how do you explain that one point in your childhood? So I have an older brother. He is 16 months older than me, so we weren't quite Irish twins, but we were pretty dang close. And we got to a certain age where he started playing with other friends a lot more and excluded me, and I really just desperately wanted him to still like me. And so I tried to learn Zelda. But it's just, I'm sorry, it was boring. It was just boring. It reminded me of Haunted House because pull up Haunted House and pull up Land of Zelda, and it's the same freaking layout. Just one has trees and one has just solid walls.
It is kind of this not dungeon crawler. Yeah, like a dungeon crawler where you have, I guess there are some similarities. There's walls and space in which you walk around and such. Are you these little dots? Is that how you play?
Yeah, that's part of the ghost.
Oh, so you're the ghost? Is that who you are?
Yeah, we're back to Haunted House.
Back to Haunted House.
For the people that can't see what we're talking about.
Correct, yes, because theater of the mind, as we say with this kind of stuff. Okay, so Zelda you had a hard time with. Zelda
was not a Zelda person.
The original Legend of Zelda is notoriously tough to play. Especially if you have no guidance, no maps, no Nintendo Power helping you out. It's a really hard game.
Well, I didn't die a lot. I played it very well.
You wandered about.
I wandered about and I did nothing. And then
that's what you do.
Yeah. And then my next memory, which just crushes Zelda. And I'm sorry for all you fans of Zelda, but it crushed it. the Super Nintendo
Yes.
arrived. And and we got Super Mario World.
Yes.
And my life changed.
Mwah. Chef kiss.
Yes.
Yes. So you played a lot of Mario World.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So that was okay, so help me out here because I played it, God knows, in my mind, like I may have been like 5 years past when it was supposed to, like, when did that come out? Help me out.
So
Quick, answer all the, questions.
1991.
Yeah. Is that really when it came out?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, you know that off the top of your head.
I did an entire episode on the Super Nintendo. I better know these things.
You did not include me in the Super Nintendo episode.
I just said that this is your first time on literally any of my podcasts, and I've done 3 in my life. But that's neither here nor there. So the Super Nintendo, yes, it was 1991. It was
okay. I was 11.
September, I think, if memory serves, before holiday. And yes, it came with Super Mario World bundled into the system. That was kind of how it...
Did it also come with Zelda?
No, it did not come with Zelda Link to the Past, which is the Super Nintendo Zelda.
Okay, so that makes me believe that I had Zelda on regular NES and not
That's
Super.
what it sounds like. So here, I can pull up a picture. If you want to tell us a bit about how much you love Super Mario World and why that kind of connected with you so much.
Around the time that we started getting, or that my brother started getting these game systems, whether he wanted them or not, he was not a gamer. He was never a gamer. He got this game. He played it a little bit with his friends and then was gone. So all around this time, if we're going 11, 12, that makes a whole lot of sense. So around this time, my mom was married to a man who was an alcoholic, and he was he was not a nice guy. He was really not a nice guy. He was an alcoholic. He had a lot of issues. And my brother, who was extremely popular, was able to go out and hang out with his friends. And I didn't really have any friends because I was not allowed to leave the house. I was forced to stay home and be the good little girl and anger. So I had to stay home alone and didn't have anything to do. And I had this brother who, in looking back, totally understand why he left, but he left and I wanted him so badly to be my friend and to like me. So I tried to play these games to get him to like me. And then it very quickly turned from me wanting him to like me by playing these games and being good at these games to I genuinely enjoyed the game. It gave me something to do. It was my escape from reality. It allowed me to do something that I was good at, and I used it in various forms of also education. Like I was telling you the other day, I used to try and beat the machine when you, at the very, very end, when you jump on the flag and you get your points, and before it adds up, I used to mentally count it up so that, which now is like, oh, that's simple math. But when I was 11, that was hard for me.
Yeah.
And so I used to use it to learn quick math, and it helped with my hand-eye coordination. And it was just this really fun experience. Honestly, it is without a doubt the one highlight of a childhood that had some pretty low points.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I wish I could be like, oh, I made all these friends like playing it. I didn't have any friends. Like I said, I wasn't allowed to leave my house. So I had to sit in my house, sit in my room, whether people were there or not. When people were there, you're right. I was in that room because I didn't want to be near anybody.
Right.
And I had this great little world that I got to play with. And it was just fun, and it was happy music, and Wish I had something better than that. My favorite part, hands down, is in World 1, I believe, of Super Mario Brothers, when he gets the cape for the first time.
Yeah.
And there's this one area. I remember I played it with you for the first time. And it's this, you go down in one of the pipes, and it's this world where you run up a big pipe and then you run down the other side. Yeah. And I did that, and I literally flew and took one. It was like, how many coins are in that?
Yeah, it's a whole line of coins that you can kind of launch.
Of coin. And I flew, and I managed to like float and do one row, flip around, do the other row, flip around, and do the other row.
That broke my brain. I remember that because what you did was you took off, you flew across the plane there, collecting one row of coins, and then you were able to, in mid-air, in mid-flight, just turn around and go the other way. I had never seen that before. I didn't know that was possible. And yet, you nailed it. So Mario World, it sounds like it was a big comfort.
It was a huge comfort. It was the only... That sounds like so sad, but it's truthful. It's literally the only thing that I had for probably 3 years.
Wow. And that speaks to a lot of what these games could do, right? And I think it's interesting too. You mentioned that girls didn't get these things, and you're right. It was always marketed for boys. It was in the toy section. It was probably with the boy stuff. But I really think that's very interesting and touching that you were able to find a lot of comfort in that game. So I appreciate you telling that story, hon. Those aren't easy memories to drug up. I know obviously I know more of the stuff than, you're telling, of course, but I'm glad Super Mario World, was able to get you through that. That's pretty neat.
This is what's hard. Is I did not want a scripted interview with you because you and I do not do well with scripted.
No,
we do well when we're just having a conversation.
Yes.
And so I purposefully not thought about this because I knew we were going to do this episode at some point and we were going to talk about it because for me, I really wanted to discuss that. And I understand that this is a Gamer Looks at 40. So the majority of the people that are going to listen to this are people around our age. Mm-hmm. So I know someone out there is going to relate to this, but I wish a younger kid, or maybe the parents, people our age are now parents of kids.
Right.
So understand that there is a chance that when your kid is just home playing these games, it's not because they're weird or a loser. Maybe they just need a moment to do the one thing that they're good at. Mm-hmm. Because that's the one thing with Super Mario Brother. Is it brother or brothers? Brothers. So I was good at it. And that was a very rare experience because I was raised that my brother was better than me in every way because he was smart and he was a boy. And so I was this dumb girl that was not good at anything other than cleaning up the house. So the fact that I got to do something that was quote unquote like a boy thing, mm-hmm. and I was good at it.
Yeah.
It made me feel like I had a value for the first time. And that's really sad.
Yeah.
That we're talking like 11, 12, 13 when people, not just girls, are developing and becoming like humans.
Right.
To be told that you're worthless and you're stupid, but you're actually good at this one thing, that is a lifeline. And thank God I did not grow up in the land of social media.
Oh man, I wouldn't have survived. I can't imagine. I mean, it sounds like games are also empowering, and there's lots of stories of that. Like, for example, I mean, I've said this on the show before, that, games help me feel like I could win at something in an era where I knew I couldn't, because all the other metrics of success were sports and sports, right? That was the measure, right? Or, I was in band and I played, I was in drumline, what percussion instrument I played, right? Like there's all these different metrics of success, and I was always smart, so that was not a big deal. But playing games well, I told the story a few weeks ago. I remember one time I was in the arcade and I was kind of standing in line waiting to play, I think Street Fighter, it was Street Fighter. And I was waiting in line, and this one guy was up there, this kind of, wrestler type of football player, jock, as they used to say, an athletic person. I played against this football player type, and I destroyed him. I wrecked him. And it was great because I was able to beat a kid, young adult, I was never able to do. Like, there's no other way in life. There's no other contest I could defeat this person, but I was able to. So I totally get that empowerment, that games could provide.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Beat him. Chun-Li, my main. That's how I rocked him.
Oh, man, I tried with Chun-Li. I am not good at that game. I do not have the dexterity to do that.
I'm not great at those games either. I'll be honest with you. I'm okay, but I'm not. Yeah, I couldn't go into an arcade today and play against someone who knows what they're doing.
Oh, man. I could never do that. But if not to progress too quickly, you can come back and you can edit this any way you want to.
I will slice and dice, or I may just post it and say, screw it. I may just do that as well. But go ahead.
Which is perfectly fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the next experience with games was in Des Moines, Iowa. An arcade opened up. I wish I could tell you what streets, but what is that theory where your brain only holds like so much and then like things, once you add something new, other things fall away?
It's the Christina Applegate in Married with Children phenomenon in the episode where she starts forgetting her name because she keeps learning new facts.
Yes.
Whatever that is, yes.
Well, 100% that happened to me of every street in Iowa. I can tell you if you gave me a map, I'd be able to sort of figure it out. But,
right.
Okay, well, there was one place, it was an arcade. And I used to go there with my friends on nights that we didn't go to Rocky Horror Picture Show, because we went to Rocky Horror Picture Show every Friday night at midnight. That's
Excellent.
What we did.
Very good.
We danced, we sang, we acted it all out.
Yep.
We were those dorks. And so, but there was this arcade. And I remember going to that arcade and everyone would be playing all these games and I sucked at all of the games. But this one where it was like you were in a science lab and there were zombies and you got to shoot the zombies with a gun. It was the only game that was 5 cents a play. And honestly, that was the only game I could afford.
25 cents a play.
No, it was 5 cents.
No.
Yep.
You can't, there's no arcade games with nickel slots.
Well, it was a nickel slots there, and it was 5 cents a game, and it was literally the only game I could play.
So you were in a lab.
Because I couldn't afford anything
Were you
else.
shooting like zombies?
Yes.
Like, was it Area 51?
No, I don't.
You don't know?
No. I mean, if you pulled it up, they would all look the same. But every time we go to an arcade, I'm like, find me a zombie shooting game. And I just want to like shoot zombies.
So even today, you search out House of the Dead. And
I shoot zombies. That's what I do.
That's it. Yep. Taking care of the zombies. Yeah. So cool. So you played shoot 'em up zombie game in the arcade, and that was your jam.
Oh, loved it.
Taking out all the aggression on that plastic gun. Very cool. I'm surprised you didn't bring up another Super Nintendo game that I know you absolutely adore. Your favorite game. I think it might be your favorite game other than another game we'll mention down the line, which is much later, which is Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
It's Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yoshi's Island is Super Mario World 2.
Really?
Yes.
No, Super Mario World 2, or is that Super Mario? That's the one with like the princess and the weird turnips that she throws?
No, that's weird turnips. No, that's Mario Brothers 2. That's Super Mario Brothers 2.
Okay, see, this is why I think he wasn't a super. That's why
they're all super. They're super duper. So Super Mario World is the SNES one that came within this one you were talking about. Yoshi's Island, where you are Yosh, carting around the baby that you were playing the other day on the Switch. That is Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island. Rationale being is that
real Super Mario Brothers 2, not just a other game that they rebranded.
Listen, don't break my heart. My Mario heart, okay? I love that game. And I know
you do.
I have so much heart for that game. And I won't hear it besmirched in such a way.
I'm not besmirching anything.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, Yoshi's Island is your jam. You were playing Yoshi's Island, I think it was last week.
I was playing Yoshi's Craft World.
Oh, Yoshi's Crafted World. Okay. Which is kind of like souped up. And you were starting to get frustrated.
Yes, because I kept dying and I was mad.
It's fine. I was interested. It was kind of neat watching you kind of get a little, not a little ragey. You're like, this game. But you're really good at Yoshi's Island to this day.
I was not introduced to Yoshi's Island at a decade to the zombie games. I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
When I was introduced to Yoshi's Island.
Huh. Okay. Nice. How did you have a Super Nintendo wherever you were, or was that like a...
No, it's my ex-boyfriend.
We all have exes. It's fine. It's fine.
So my ex-boyfriend introduced me to Yoshi's Island because he knew how much I liked Super Mario World, and he goes, "You like Yoshi? Here, try this game." I think that's probably the one good thing I got out of that.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of good things.
No.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with that's probably the only...
That might be it.
Only good thing.
That might be it.
Got Yoshi's Island.
Got Yoshi's Island. Cool, because I know you're a big fan of that. So fast forward now, probably through college and all that. I don't know if you probably played a lot between like Yoshi's Island and...
no, I was like late 20s. I was out of college when I got Yoshi's Island. So between Zombie Arcade...
Right. Zombie Arcade and Yoshi's Island, a.k.a. 2006? 2005, 2006? That sounds... Yeah, okay.
Did not play any video games.
Okay. Now... After that time period,
too busy working.
Yeah, you were working a lot. You worked quite a bit.
Yeah.
Did you play anything before we picked up Portal?
I played Yoshi's Island for a while, and then lost my ability to play due to lack of video game system when I broke up with the ex. Lost my... R.I.P. video game systems. So after that, I did not play anything until I started dating you.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a Wii. And so I was like, back to my dorky childhood of, if I play this game, then he will like me. Just in a different format.
In a different context.
Yeah,
yes.
Different context.
Yeah.
Way different context.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Yeah. So, and then I bought a Wii, and I tried to play...
That's right, you did have a Wii.
I did have a Wii.
Yes.
And I tried to play that Mario game, and I sucked at it.
It was one of the first the Mario
I never got
Wii.
past like halfway through level 2.
Yeah.
And I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
You had Donkey Kong, I know that.
A Donkey Kong.
Which is really hard.
I got to level like 3 with that.
Yeah.
And then you'd come over and just play the video game.
That's right. I would come over to your apartment.
Play it, and I'm like, well, why play it if you're just going to play it and you're going to...
Flex on it, like my Mario skills. Well, just to give some context, we were both living in New York City at that time.
I was in Hell's Kitchen.
And I was on the Upper East Side. And... yeah, I would come to your place. I would, again, flex my skills on Donkey Kong or Mario. Did we play any Wii Sports? I forget if we did. We never really did. Those are the main two I remember.
Those are the only two, because why would you... I'd rather go play tennis.
Like real tennis?
Like real tennis.
What? I have no interest at all. Because tennis is outside. And as I said in the camping episode I recently recorded with Pete, the outside... is terribly, horribly inconvenient.
See, I like the outside.
It's fine, but it's inconvenient.
It's 100% inconvenient, but it allows you to, like, do something fun. It allows you to be MacGyver. Literally, my entire life, and you know this.
I know.
Because you live with me.
Yes.
I want to live in Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I want to be MacGyver. That's all I want out of life.
Fair.
I'm good at it.
You are indeed. So let's talk about Portal.
Oh, the
Yes.
the fateful Sunday morning where, let's face it, I was too hungover to stand up.
Yeah. So let's kind of set that up a little bit.
Yep.
So you and I played hockey.
Yep.
Street hockey.
Every Sunday morning we would go play street hockey.
In Tompkins Square Park. In
New York City,
in
if
New York
you
City.
don't know where that's at.
Yes, in New York City. And it would run from like noon to 6 because there was 20 teams in the league and there was like 2 makeshift street hockey courts on a giant court that took up 4 basketball fields. So that makes sense, right? It's a big area for these 2, and there'd be 2 games going simultaneously. And what was great about it was very social. It was a very social experience where you could drink in the park. The cops never bothered us because we never bothered them. We were always very orderly. We never caused a fight or a problem.
We cleaned up after ourselves.
There was nary a scrap or bottle left over.
Everything was brown bagged. It was not obvious.
It was just a bunch of people hanging out. We had a permit from the city to do that. It was great. We do like a service project once a year, paint a wall or something. And this story starts, was it after hockey or was it the day after? Or I want to say, was it a Saturday night going into a Sunday?
It was this. No, we played on a Sunday.
Yes,
it was we missed hockey that day.
We did.
Yes.
So in that case, then that whole hockey side thing was. So we were probably out Saturday night.
We were out Saturday night,
and we were too hungover to play hockey the next day.
You were fine.
Did I go to play hockey and you stayed home?
No, you were very kind. You stayed home with me because I was dying. I was not okay.
And I'm a goalie. So goalies in hockey are like gold. So I really boned our terrible team, in doing so. So the night before, verschnicked.
Yep.
Just.
Well, and I was so sick. Now understanding like all the like medical issues I have, I now know why I was so sick. But I was not okay.
And I remember distinctly you on the couch in my apartment with your Gut Rot shirt, and Gut Rot was the name of our hockey team. With your Gut Rot shirt still on, and you were like in your Sprecher's hoodie, just dying.
Not okay.
Literally dying. And then I decide, hey, let's play this video game called Portal. And I think it was my first time playing it too. I think it was. I don't think I'd played it. I was like, ooh, look at this game. And we played through that entire game over the course of a day/evening, probably /night. And it saw us through a day of nausea and pain and suffering. And we, as a couple, fell in love with Portal. We, to this day, adore that game. Today, actually, somebody tweeted, why do people like Portal so much? And I had a whole long tweet of itemized reasons.
It was
itemized.
Go off on anyone that insults Portal.
And I think it was a very tongue-in-cheek. It was very tongue-in-cheek. But anyway, so we survived the drunken hungover day thanks to Portal. Why do you like Portal so much?
Why do you not? It is... Okay, GLaDOS is phenomenal. She is so snarky and dry and just insanely bitter and sarcastic about things. It is hilarious.
Yes. The voice acting is it's some of the best in games.
Yeah.
It really is.
And I love the hidden little nuggets that are in there. Like the cake is a lie.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you playing it, because you're used to like all of these games that you just explore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have explored anything.
Sure.
And I wouldn't have found like all the little like hidden rat holes where it's like the cake is alive.
The Rat King.
With like, the handprints and everything. And it was just this amazing game where we started going and we started playing it. And then it became harder and harder. And then it was a puzzle. And you just had to, okay, I distinctly remember going up to the screen. I do, like, thank you for putting up with me because I do get very hostile when I'm like, no, why are you not getting this? You need to jump here, loop here, control R there, and then go to the end.
R. Yes, we are actually a pretty good team when it comes to puzzle games because I can make the little character go. And
I cannot.
And Jamie will tell me what to do. Like, oh no, that's the obvious answer. Do the block here and jump up in there and put the orange portal here and the blue portal there, jump in, fling over. I do remember there are a lot of parts in that game where you have to do a lot of flinging and bouncing. That was not okay for you. Oh no. Boy.
I think I had to leave the room to be sick at least twice.
Yes. This is how we played Portal for the first time. Was ill and just dying.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I mean, let's face it. If I watch you play it today, I still have to leave.
Yeah, it's a lot of those bouncing parts where you're kind of going from portal to portal.
Like I get motion sick very easy.
Yeah. My comment to this person who just posited why is Portal so good, and this was very tongue in cheek. Obviously, he was not really looking for an answer, but I gave him an answer anyway. I said, "Oh, let me count the ways." Clean visual design, hilarious antagonist, and I don't use the word hilarious lightly in any sort of way, shape, or form. Fair challenge, puzzles that empower rather than discourage, perfect onboarding. The onboarding is just so good in that game. Like the way the challenge escalates and it teaches you all the mechanics naturally through play. Natural world building, cake is a lie, Rat King, all that fun stuff. Simple mechanics with many uses. Love that. They are unitaskers. They're not unitaskers. They are multitaskers, as Alton Brown would like to say. Flinging always fun, unless you're hungover and nauseous and throwing up.
Yep.
Tight run time, 6 hours, you are done. And that's like a max. We could probably blow through Portal at this point in like 4. 0 fat on it. It is a lean, mean gaming machine. And I love it. I like it more than Portal 2, which is a game we also played together.
Ooh, that was going to be my next question. Because that's a hard one.
I know.
But to go back to Portal, do you remember the emotion when GLaDOS told you, okay, around this corner, then you will have cake. And you turn the corner. She does not sound like that. Somehow make my voice sound like GLaDOS in editing. She's not. Sure. Her voice does not go up. It's more like grainy deep. And you turn the corner, and there is flames. And you and I were both like, wait, what? No. What? No. And literally for 20 minutes. But then he died and came back, and we're like, okay, so no.
I probably
like
died
all sorts
5
of inflections of questions in various stages of grief and denial
and confusion because this is not me as a kid. I'm pushing 30 at this point. Like I should understand these things. I could not process that this was the end of the game. I'm like, wait, is this the end of the game where it's just
I couldn't either.
I'm gonna keep just dying in this fire, and it's not fun. And then I just happened, I think, to look up, and I saw a place, and anyone who's played Portal, a platform, and I just shot a thing, and sure enough, that was the answer to that was the solution to the problem: is get up out of the way, and then of course you progress through the bowels of the lab now. But I died probably easy 6 times. Just like, what am I supposed to do? This can't be the end of the game.
It wasn't the end because you kept coming back to life. So we're like, clearly it's not over.
Clearly it's not over. Clearly I'm supposed to do something at this point to not die in the fire. What do I do? Unless this is a cruel, cruel trick by Valve, the makers of Portal, to just punish me over and over and over again. And obviously that was not the case. But man, oh, yes.
Oh no, that was phenomenal. And then when it was like, and then when we got past it and we were alive and in the bowels, I was so excited. I was just like,
more game.
Ah, yay!
More game. More fun game.
And then we got pizza.
And
I felt better.
And then you felt better. And that was it.
And then we continued to play.
Yeah,
until...
and we beat that game in one sitting.
Oh yeah.
We beat that in
There was nothing else. I couldn't physically do anything else. I couldn't even physically help you with the game other than to like occasionally shout at you how to do it.
Oh man. Those days.
I do not miss those days.
I no longer drink for a reason, and I tell you, I do not miss the hungover days.
Oh man,
I do not miss that at all. And we also played Portal 2. It was the first game we were able to play together because we played the co-op mode. And as you famously say, if it has R1 and R2, you punch out. You're like, I can't
do it. I lost it after the Colossals. What was that? The little boy climbing the
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah. Yes. That's a very hard. It was a good game. Yeah, it's a hard game to control. It's not an easy game to actually play in your hands. So we played Portal 2 together in co-op mode. You learned R1 and R2 or L1 and R1 or whatever to actually play that game together. I thought that was our first game we played together. In the co-op mode. It's so fun and good. It was great. That was a really fun little...
It was fun. That's how much I love Portal.
Yes.
I learned R1.
Yes.
For Portal.
Yes. It was pretty awesome. So it was a good time.
And I feel like I need to collect my thoughts and arguments because I honestly don't know which one is better, Portal 1 or Portal 2. So I'd actually have to think about that.
I got that answer right for you.
But there's so many things I love about Portal 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for crying out loud, I crocheted you. I crocheted you a GLaDOS as a potato.
Yes. I have in my possession a GLaDOS as a potato crocheted Christmas ornament. It might be with the Christmas stuff again. But so I always kind of take a picture of that on Twitter and trot that out like, hey, my wife's amazing. Look how talented she is. But yes, I own a crocheted GLaDOS as a potato. I like Portal 1 better because it has 0 fat on it. It is a trim, perfectly paced game where Portal 2 has a flabby middle. The middle of that game, when you're going up through the levels, some of those puzzles, I don't like Moon Gel. I think the Moon Gel, it's great because it obviously pays off at the very end. But I don't like that mechanic because you're kind of just spraying it everywhere. It requires no tactility or anything. There's some of those puzzles towards the middle are a little long in the tooth. They're not terribly well designed. But we're comparing like masterpiece to masterpiece. Like it's not like I'm saying Portal 2 stinks. Portal 2 is incredible. But if I had to pick one or the other, especially as a dad who has no time to play games, I podcast. Those are my things that I occasionally play games. I don't have time for Portal 2. I got time for Portal. I'll run through Portal.
I think anyone has time for Portal.
Yeah, everyone should make time for it if you haven't already.
It's so good.
It's a great game, and it's definitely one of those that we connected on, which I love. I love it for that. So have you played anything recently? I know you've gone back to Yoshi's Crafted World. We bought that for our son. World.
That is the only thing that I have played recently. I've watched you play things, but the only thing I have played recently is Yoshi's Craft World because Yoshi's Island on the Switch, my brain only works on the Super Nintendo controller.
Yeah.
So it's a little difficult. I can do Yoshi's Island on the Nintendo. What's mine? That flips open.
Oh, the DS.
DS. Yeah. So I have one of those. The only game I play on that is Yoshi's Island.
Yep.
And I can play it on that. But I think the only thing I played on the Switch is Yoshi's Craft World. You and I have done Super Mario World on the Switch.
Yes, we have. We Yeah, we did do that, and so Yoshi's Island. What's interesting about that is, first off, don't feel bad about not playing it well on the Switch, because the Switch controllers are terrible. They're just horrible.
They're hard.
Horrible controllers. They're probably a bottom 5 controller ever made. Might be one of the worst sets of controllers Nintendo's ever made. And they made the Virtual Boy. They made the N64, which people hate. I don't hate that system. I think it's fine. But the Joy-Cons, as they call them, are just terrible controller. So don't feel bad you're not playing it well. You can get a Super Nintendo controller to play when it's docked and play with Super Nintendo controller. I'm pretty confident there's an officially licensed one. If not, you can get a fake one.
I'll have to give that a try.
Yeah, they might be a little more, and then you play it on the big screen and you can enjoy it that way.
Our new 75-inch TV.
Yeah, see every individual pixel. You can see all the little dots.
I love it.
Fantastic. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Just total rando thought. Do you know a game you haven't played in a really long time that I think you should replay because it was so beautiful to watch? And probably you shouldn't play it at the same time because it'll never live up to my memory.
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
I thought you were going to say Mass Effect. You did watch me play a good amount of Mass Effect.
I lost my mind when Deanna Troi was...
Yeah. Who's Deanna Troi in that game?
I just remember someone speaking and me doing something and looking up going, that's Deanna Troi.
Marina Sirtis is the actress who plays Deanna Troi.
She does a lot of voiceover work.
You lost your mind because you're a big Star Trek fan.
Yes.
I am now a bigger Star Trek fan than I was, thanks to you. And so as soon as you heard her voice, you're like, oh, that's Marina Sirtis. That's Deanna Troi.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm like, no, it's not. And I look it up, and of course, oh, yes, it is. Of course it is.
Lesson number 1.
Yep.
Jamie's always right.
Jamie's always right. And if she's not right...
I'm sorely misinformed.
Sorely misinformed. Yes, indeed. It's not your fault if you get bad information. Bad data in, bad data out, right? As they say. Jamie, we've been talking for an hour.
Really?
A solid hour. It is now 11:24 in the evening.
PM.
In the PM. Before we started this conversation, you said that you would not identify as a gamer. And over the last hour, we've done nothing but talk about games. How they affect you, how they've been at least pieces of your story as you've gone through life. Do you think your opinion or that classification changes after this conversation? Or would you still say, yeah, no, not a gamer?
Define gamer.
Person who plays games.
Person who plays games.
Yeah, and that's kind of a maybe a broader subject, right? Because again, people like to put labels on each other, and people like labels for themselves because it provides them with identity. So you're not a real gamer if you play on your phone. Well, you play games. That's kind of what it is. So would you consider yourself at least not a hardcore gamer? Maybe not without an adjective, but just gamer. We've talked about games for an hour.
With varying levels of joy.
Yes, and I'm sure we could probably talk for another half an hour just about Portal.
Oh, I could talk about even more games because yes, I've played more games than this. Not to the extent of certain ones that pull my heartstrings and always will.
Yeah.
So I will...
You don't have to.
I will define... So I guess it sounds kind of silly to be like, I wouldn't consider myself a gamer. I would consider myself someone that appreciates...
Okay.
And enjoys certain games and all of the creativity and, oh my gosh, talent that it goes into making these games. I don't know. I guess
so.
I wouldn't be super sad if I never got to play another game.
Okay.
But I do enjoy that they still exist and that I get the opportunity to every now and then play a little Craft World because it's really cute and
adorable. Oh my God. How adorable is that game? So cute. Poochie.
I love Poochie.
Want a smooshy Poochie face.
I was so mad at myself on a random off note.
Yes.
I was so mad at myself when I got a dog and was so excited that I got this cute little tiny fluffy thing that I forgot about the fact that all I ever wanted to do was name a dog Poochie.
Yeah.
And I named him Ming.
Yeah, well, Mr. Ming is...
Mr. Ming was phenomenal.
Extraordinarily cute name for an extraordinarily cute dog. But yes, Poochie would have been
So next
pretty rad.
dog will be named Poochie.
That's awesome. So how about this?
Okay.
I would say that you're not an active gamer, but you have an appreciation for it. And you do recognize that, wow, as you think back, maybe, games are part of my life.
Oh,
and
100%.
In certain points of your life,
very vital.
Very vital, very important, got you through a lot.
Yes.
James, thank you for joining me, for scooching over a few feet for this microphone you see every day and hanging out and chatting about games. It was a lot of fun.
That I had to learn to talk really loud for.
Projecting. Shall I do my ending spiel? You've probably heard this through the walls.
Well, never when you've actually ended with someone.
I will.
I usually hear it after the fact.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Go ahead. I will back up and
you don't even have to. You
can have your pop screen back.
I don't even need. I have figured out how to depop. Thank you so much for listening to this edition of A Gamer Looks at 40. If you enjoyed this show, if you enjoyed me, if you enjoy my lovely wife, then I'm sure I will enjoy you on social media. Please sure to follow me on Twitter at A Gamer Looks at 4040. Up in the bio, there's a link tree that has all the things you need to reach me in all the places I'm at. I'm not everywhere. I can't be everywhere, but I try to be in the places that really count. Subscribe to the show. And I haven't asked for this in a while, ratings and reviews on Apple Podcasts and all the other podcatchers are greatly appreciated. They help boost the signal of the show to other people who are old like me, who may appreciate old games like the ones we do. Just want to also shout out my patrons, my wonderful patrons. All 5 of you fine gentlemen, you guys are the bee's knees and the cat's meow. I say it all the time, but I mean it all the time. So quick shout out to Julian from the Nerds Without Pants podcast, Seth Sergel from the All N podcast, Dan of Retro Logic, Ryan Payne of the Gamers Week podcast, and Pete Harney of no podcast, but my brother-in-law, and what a good egg is he. If you want to hear from him, he is on both the Chex Quest episode and on the camping episode. It was a good conversation both. Check that out. Thank you very much for checking out the show, and continue being awesome.